our next guest, I'm very excited to do this bio and bring her on stage, is Tribute Spirit. Chandra is a medicine woman of Cherokee Indian heritage, a multidimensional healer and sound therapist. She is the founder of Tribute Spirit, an online shamanic shop working with small indigenous tribes in the Brazilian Amazon. She is also the creator of Aurora Quartz Crystal Chalice Grails, high-frequency sound tools encoded with crystalline codes channeled with the Aurora Guardians. Her name means she brings the light codes. She is the full activation of the spirit of the ancient ones, and therefore she is a teacher of wisdom and one who is lovingly here to guide others upon the highest pathways to their divinity. She works with Aurora Guardian Race, her galactic family, who are here from next universe, the future, to help assist in planetary ascension. And we are going to learn about her galactic family and who they are and where they come from, and most importantly, how you can connect with yours. So welcome, Chandra. Nice to have you here today.
Thank you so much. It's a real honor to be part of this portal to ascension with all these incredible ascension guides and galactic family of light. So I welcome all you beautiful beings, your galactic beings of light. Thank you so much for being here. I am here to speak to you about the Auroras. Just a little, some Aurora vibes. The Auroras are a group of galactic beings of light who are here for planetary ascension. So first, I would like to share with you about my story that sort of comprises of about 4 years of different downloads at very different times, downloads that came in through the Auroras, and then piecing all of that information together to actually be able to fully understand the larger picture, which now I'm actually able to speak quite comprehensively about it, because there was a much larger piece that had come in. So yeah, I'll try and stick to my notes. I have notes because it's a lot of information. It's a lot of galactic information, and I could probably talk for hours about this, but I will try to keep it quite, precise as much as I can and stick to my notes, because I can tend to go off on a tangent. So about 4 years ago, I had made the intention, my intentions are never small ones, just, to help restore the crystalline codes. No small intention at all, restoring the crystalline codes. This was actually through downloads of information that I had received through grid working. I do grid work around the planet, and also through my guides. And part of that intention and the way to do that, to restore the crystalline codes, was to create these beautiful crystal chalice grails, and also continue to do the grid work, but really intentionally working with the grid work and weaving the codes into the grid, as you can see here, and I'll explain to you all about them. So little did I know how powerful that intention was, and actually how it is a part of my mission, or how it was a part of my mission, and a much larger piece of the ascension puzzle. So I receive information from the sun. I understand codes of light and information from the sun. I love to be out in nature, and I love sun gazing. And there's usually like big activations that come in through the sun and downloads of information that I receive. So I would say probably like the first time that I really connected to the Auroras was, I used to live in England, in London, for quite a while. And this was probably like 4 years ago. I was in England, and I was on the train going to Avalon, to Glastonbury, to do grid work. And the Auroras came in through the sun, and I was on the train, and I was hit with this massive galactic remembering, and it was just like blasting me in my high heart chakra. And I was like, this wave of galactic remembering came in. It was so beautiful. I was crying in tears. I was like, oh, it's so beautiful. And I'm grabbing my phone, trying to take pictures and capture the auroras, kind of like a raving, I don't know, music fan would be at a concert. I'm like crying and taking pictures of the auroras. And these people on the train were probably thinking, oh my gosh, she's like, what did she just smoke? So that fast forward a little bit towards the end of that summer, I was with one of my besties, and we were at a park, and she was giving me some energy healing, and I was lying face down on the earth, but my face was like this way, and the sun was coming in this way, and I was receiving codes of information and downloads through the sun. And they came in through the sun and were giving me these downloads. And at that point, the information that came through was about the masculine side, if you want to say, or the masculine energy of the auroras. And then a few years later, I was in a sound healing, meditating, and my sister had brought one of her crystal skulls. And I was meditating and holding the crystal skull that she had brought. And that's when the download for the feminine energy and the feminine principle came in. And then there were many downloads and synchronicities in between. And those downloads comprise of what the auroras are, and a much more sort of broader understanding of just these, downloads. So in short, I will share with you the alchemy, because it is actually alchemy. So to break it down, if you take the primary colors of the rainbow, right? You've got the primary colors of the rainbow. And then you've got the masculine principle, which is the Christos energy, the golden frequency of light. You have the masculine, which is the Christos. And then you have the feminine principle, which is the Sophia. This is the copper frequency of light. And I know some of you might be thinking like, copper frequency of light. Yeah, right. I promise you, copper frequency of light does exist. It's actually when the magenta ray meets the golden ray and they birth. It's also another alchemical process. It births what I understood then was the rose gold frequency, but Mary Magdalene came in and she was like, it's actually copper. And she showed me through the sun. So it's when the magenta ray comes in and hits and meets with the golden frequency of the Christos, and this births like the rose gold, but it's actually copper. So these are alchemical energies. And I'm sure that a lot of you connect to various different, galactic beings, and probably also understand messages and receive downloads just like I do through the sun. The light is encoded and pregnant, so full of information and codes. So we're basically talking about light code alchemy. So you have this rainbow frequency, the primary colors of the rainbow, the spectrum of the rainbow, and then you have the masculine Christos and the feminine Sophic. This is an alchemy that then births these new codes and frequencies of information that are the auroras. These are new frequencies of light and codes and information. And these codes of information are being transmitted upon the planet, activating us and helping us during the ascension process. And I'm sure as I sort of explain, I'm sure a lot of you have already been connecting to the auroras and just not understanding who they are, what they're here for, because it is a much larger picture of the ascension process. So fast forwarding through this sort of download of information, I'd been in England, and then I was doing the grid work, and all these downloads came in. And when I got back from England, I had always set my intention, you know, to create these crystalline chalice grails. And it just seemed like, okay, now was the time, and doorways kept opening, and everything was in alignment for me to create the crystal chalice grail collection. This is the limited edition collection. Now, I know that probably not a whole lot of people are intentionally and consciously connecting to the Auroras, or even understand who the Auroras are and why they're here. I do know that I'm not the only one, and thank God, but I am here to share more about that. And as we know, nothing happens by chance. So once again, I was guided and had found this really amazing artist who had been painting with the Auroras, and her name is Izzy Ivy. You guys should definitely check her out. She paints with the Auroras. This is one of her oracle decks, as you can see. So the Auroras are really this these pastel frequency codes of light. And I'll show you guys just a little bit more of some of her artwork. It's so gorgeous. Galactivations. So I reached out to Izzy and I asked her if she would like to co-create and if we could put her artwork on the grails. And she was like, no way. She's like, that's crazy. I was connecting in with the Auroras and they were guiding me to put my paintings on instruments. And she said, but I thought it was actually like me painting on, I thought it was actually, I love that one. I thought it was actually me painting on like a flute or a drum or something. She was like, I had no idea that it was going to be this, something like this beautiful. So she was definitely in. And she had said that she had just finished this, this collection, which was the Elemental Guardian collection, which I will introduce you to now. And it's really important that I share all this with you so that you can sort of get my story of all these, the sequence of events of what had happened and how I was connecting with the Auroras and how they were actually guiding me through this whole pathway. So I will introduce you to the Crystal Chalice Grail collection. And so her Elemental Guardian collection is, she was also channeling. So this is the Earth. And later when, if there's enough time when I'm finished sharing about the Auroras, I don't know if you can see, they're really hard to see, but this is the Earth, the tree of the infinite Akash. So with these, each of Izzy's, really she's channeling the information from the Elemental Guardians, which are here also for planetary ascension. And there is a very particular, if you want to say like, there's a very particular job that they are doing here. And I will, once I share with you about the grails, I'll share with you the major other pieces that came in. So, you know, these are all encoded with codes of light and frequency, which is information. And then you have her channeled Elemental Guardian paintings that are engraved in each one of these. So you have the Earth, that is the tree of the infinite Akash. We have the fire, that is the phoenix of white fire. I don't know if you guys can see. So each of these channeled pieces of art are, you know, they're codes and they each do something very specific. This is the water, the naga of the golden lotus. You can probably see this one better. Yeah. This one is air. Dimensional shifts of the crystalline. And then we have the ether. The new earth codes. And it'll just go on forever. So these are sound healing tools. You know, you can get in the energy field and pull things out and weave codes in. So if you guys are interested in any of these, they are available on my website, which is tribuspirit.com. And for the Easter Ascension, I am offering a 20% discount if you use the discount Holy Grail 20. So, and later I should maybe have a little bit of time where I can give you guys a nice Aurora crystalline code activation with the grails. So now I'm gonna break it down even further. So I just wanted to share with you my story of how I was connecting with the Auroras. And I do not claim to know everything about the Auroras. There is a lot of information that I know that I am still yet to discover as I continue this relationship with them. And yeah, you know, as we are all ascending and discovering more of our galactic lineages. So I don't claim to know everything. So after this like 4-year period of me receiving all of these downloads, I had then, in between those downloads, I had actually found some really like mind-blowing information. And this information was already like, it was very more precise for me. The downloads, you know, as downloads and codes can sometimes be a bit not abstract, but this was more like very clean and precise and direct. And I was just mind blown. I was like, whoa, okay. So I'm not the only one connecting with the Auroras here. And there is someone else that knows a whole lot of information about this. And my mind is just like, okay. So as I said earlier, the Auroras are a group of galactic beings of light who are here for planetary ascension. They are located beyond the universal 0-point field and into the core of the next universe, or the high creational realm in Andromeda. They are here to help override the current inorganic grid structures like the frequency fence on the planet during the ascension cycle. And if you don't know what the frequency fence is, it's very important that I share this information so that you guys know. I will break it down in a second. So the Auroras help override the current inorganic grid structures by building platforms of light that are safe zones that help step over the reversal fields, which are also that are running on Earth from the frequency fence. So I see them like if you think that like this is the planet, you know, I see the Aurora platforms as like rainbow bridges of light. And I get this really funny image of like Care Bears shooting out from their belly going, and then like a giant rainbow Aurora like blasting everybody. But that's not actually what happens. I'm just very entertained with human experiences. So, but that's actually how I do see them. They're like rainbow aurora, like these colors. These are all auroras, you know, like the aurora borealis. The aurora platforms that are helping us get over this frequency fence so that we can actually ascend, because the frequency fence is excuse me, one sec. The planet has been surrounded by artificial machinery that prevents us from accessing higher frequencies. And it maintains the collective mind control through a controller frequency fence. So these mind control fields, they feed into the anti-life structures that power the cabal. Sorry to burst anybody's bubble, but we are in a galactic war, and we have been in one for eons. This frequency fence and this mind control machinery, artificial machinery, has been impairing and controlling human consciousness evolution for like gazillion, thousands, billions of years. And this stuff triggers me like nobody's business. Okay, breathe, Chandra. I'm gonna explain. So like the frequency fences are used to unplug the DNA codes and block high frequencies from the Earth's population, which can be manipulated to control your perception, as well as what an individual can experience through your 5 basic human senses. So we're talking about taking away your sovereignty. That's why it triggers me so much. When we intend to raise our consciousness and embody these higher levels of spiritual identity, or to raise our light body frequencies, it shifts us out of the range of the frequency fence. So if I will show you, and like I'm coughing because I got hit by the frequency fence when I was in ceremony a few weeks ago, and I got hit with COVID. So I'm going to explain. I will demonstrate. So what happens when like you're on the spiritual path and you're really devoted to doing your ascension work, right? You hit up, if this is you, you hit up against this frequency fence and it shocks you. So say like, this is you and this is the frequency fence. This is the frequency fence. This is you, and it shocks you. And then you're like, what the hell? What the hell? What the hell? I thought I was connecting to God. I thought I would become more at peace and I would become more at one with everything. I don't understand why I'm hitting this glass ceiling. It's because you literally are. And excuse me, every time you hit that frequency fence, it's returning karmic dust and exhaust back to you, and it's also sending black magic your way. And it's a reversal pattern, so that when you start to reach a certain level of development within your spiritual light body, and every time you try to move into this next level of higher consciousness within this holographic video game we're in, you hit the frequency fence, and you hit it, and it sends back all this shit, and you're pummeled to the floor with like, you know, it's like you hit it and you're like, you're out. Sometimes for weeks, sometimes for months. Who here has experienced this? And it's sending a message to you, like the message is like, you're trying to get out, right? You're connecting to God, you're one with everything in the universe, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, and it's sending this message to you like, Oh no, little piggy, no you don't. You get back in your little pig pen and you stay there like a good little piglet. So then you think twice about sitting with plant medicine or connecting to God and meditating and elevating your frequency. It's there on purpose to prevent everyone from really ascending. And so this happens, it leaves us confused. A lot of us don't even know like what's happening. And it's really like, no, it's no joke. It's really serious. I've experienced it way too much. But thank God for the Auroras. In come the Auroras. To the rescue. The Auroras. The Auroras bring to the earth plane the Aurora elements, right? Like I was channeling that information, was connected to Izzy. The Aurora elements, which are also called the New Earth Elemental Command. Dun, dun, dun. They are here. We can use them like wands. The Aurora's mission is to work with the New Earth Elemental Command. This role is to help re-encrypt the human physical body on atomic and subatomic levels, because the chemical constituents of our DNA is an elemental base. Our physical body is an elemental body, and it's comprised of these 4 basic level constituents. We can use our 4 elements to understand the 4 levels of chemicals that comprise our DNA, which is earth, air, water, fire, ether. Our human bodies are not transmuting fast enough the karmic base of negative form of miasma. I mean, how many of you are experiencing this? Yeah, okay, we're all galactic beings. We all have galactic lineages, but we are all also in a human physical form, and we have to transcend and transmute this. We really have to ascend within our physical structure. So through these like less denser formats, in order to handle the accelerated frequency of ascension. So the Auroras are here to help us with that. Excuse me. This is the primary reason we are having the Auroras host this planet for the Ascension timeline. Now, with the re-encryption of our particle base, as we are being re-encrypted on an atomic level, our particles being shifted, and we're being upgraded into these new re-encryption templates to work with the new elemental command. This is to build the physical elemental form and monadic form of our body back into the organic life force of our true original divine blueprint, and the cosmic Christos blueprint, and the 12-strand DNA silicate matrix. We're moving from carbon to silicate. This is not an easy process. And P.S., science is proving this. There are now life forms, silicate life forms, that are bonding with carbon life forms. This is what the Aurora's mission is to build the planetary and individual particle base and re-encrypt us with its new coding. And as our bodies are being upgraded beyond the carbon-based coding. So how you can connect to the Auroras is like, they're so beautiful to visualize. You just visualize these colors. As we intend, so it manifests, you know? So you can visualize any of these colors and frequencies and call them in. But the best way to connect with them is through the sun. For me, it's always been the strongest way has been through the sun. So please go outside in nature, receive those Aurora solar code activations as much as you can. It really helps. The other day, moving through COVID, I just kept hearing, get out in the sun, go out in the sun. And I went out in the sun and it was like, oh, I could hear the angels. It was like I was alive again. It will help you tremendously through this alchemical ascension process that we're all going through. The codes, the light codes, the auroras are in the light codes, helping us to transmute and transform our actual, our atoms, our particles. And this is the auroras. I hope that this was easy to understand, that I was able to sort of break it down in some simpler ways for people to understand. I will leave you with a little, I have a little bit of time. I'll leave you with a little Aurora Grail activation. And again, if you guys would like to begin to connect deeper with the Auroras and you'd like to purchase one, they're on my website at tribuspirit.com, and you can find them under Sound Healing Tools. And this month for the Easter Ascension, I will be offering a 20% off special code. So I leave you with the frequencies of the Auroras. Thank you all so much for being here and being part of this ascension process. We're all guiding and uplifting one another back home. So I thank you all, because it's crazy times and really magical times to witness. So, and we're all part of it. So I thank you all so much. I love you. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Chandra. That was amazing. Really enjoyed that, and especially that gold one, that last one. Wow, the harmonics in that, it just had me buzzing. I was like, whoa, that's awesome.
Yeah, they go on for days too. You can really feel them in the energy field.
I live here in Canada, in British Columbia, right in the center of the province, and we get a lot of Aurora Borealis happening around here, and just tons of just beautiful colors and images that just roll across the sky like that, and yellows and greens and blues and reds. Is totally amazing. So I really resonated with what you were talking about, because I was looking, I was like, oh wow, it's just from memory too, right? And it's like, wow, thank you, Chandra. That was truly amazing.
Oh, you're so blessed. Give them a giant hug in the Auroras when they next come.
Thank you so kindly. I really appreciate your contribution in this event and this new earth that we're creating. So love you very much. Thank you.